I toured two beautiful apartments in Woburn, Massachusetts to see if either could feel like home. Let me show you what I found. One of them has a courtyard pool, and the other, I wasn't expecting that fitness center. I've always lived on the South Shore of Boston for the whole 7 years that I've been around Boston. But about 3 years ago, I got a job in Woburn, which is north and a little bit west of Boston. It's been fine up until the last 3 months when I got promoted, which I was really happy about, but now I have to be in the office full time. And the commute from the South Shore to the North Shore is brutal. Traffic in Boston is a nightmare. And if you don't want to spend 3 hours in the car every day, this is not a good setup. So it's time for me to move. And if you've been watching my channel, you know I've been looking at apartments in downtown Boston, and they're incredibly expensive. It is a great location, and there's so much to do down there, but they are very, very expensive, and very small spaces that are very expensive. So I've been reading your comments, and everybody says, if you work in Woburn, why don't you just move to Woburn? So I thought we would go look at some apartments in Woburn today. Woburn, Massachusetts is an industrial community located just a few miles north of Boston, making it an attractive option for those seeking a balance between suburban comfort and urban accessibility. Historically a hub for industry and manufacturing, Woburn is transforming into a diverse and growing city with a rich array of amenities. For those looking to live there, Woburn offers a variety of housing options, from traditional multifamily homes to modern apartment complexes. This city also has several distinct neighborhoods, each with its own character. Commuters can appreciate Woburn's strategic location with easy access to both 93 and 95, and easy access to the MBTA commuter rail service to Boston. Okay, so just a quick recap of what I'm looking for in an apartment. The first thing is easy access to 93. Obviously, that's a little bit different in Woburn because I won't need access to 93. But in general, that's one of the things I'm looking for. Close to the ocean or the harbor, something that has a nice view. I would also like to have a good coffee shop. I love Starbucks, but there's also some amazing Italian coffee places downtown. Obviously a grocery store because I want convenience. For an apartment specifically, it has to have central air conditioning. I cannot live with an apartment that does not have central air conditioning. A washer and dryer in the unit. It has to have parking with EV charging because I drive a Tesla, and then it would also be really nice if I could find an apartment with a bathtub because I love taking baths. All right, so the first apartment that we're going to look at today is the Avalon Woburn. So this apartment complex is actually in a shopping center that has a grocery store, a TJ Maxx, a bunch of restaurants. It's really just a great environment, all pretty much brand new in the last few years. This specific building has 24-hour maintenance, a barbecue with tons and tons of outdoor space in a couple different places. There's what they call a business center, so that if you work from home, you have a space that you can work from home outside of your apartment. There's also a lounge that is available to rent if you want to throw a party. There's a fitness center. I think it's really funny that they listed that there's an elevator in their amenities. I thought, doesn't every building have an elevator? I mean, probably not every single building, but all the buildings that I looked at had an elevator, so I just thought that was funny. And then also they listed parking in their amenities as well. Overall, the building feels pretty new and the amenities look decent. They look like inviting places that you might want to hang out. Also, from the outdoor space that was on the third floor, you can see that there's some space on the ground floor that's also space that you could use to hang out outside if you wanted to. All right, so let's go look at the apartment. So the apartment that we're looking at is on the third floor and it is 1,063 square feet. This particular apartment is actually a 2-bedroom apartment because they didn't have any 1-bedrooms that were vacant to look at. All right, so here is the apartment. They only had a 2-bedroom, they don't have a 1-bedroom to look at it. So this one is a little bit bigger, but it's really nice. I love the white countertops. And the sink is really nice. I love the deep sinks. And there's tons of storage and a huge island, which is awesome. Oh, there's a nice washer and dryer. Although the one in the 1-bedroom probably won't be It may not be that big. It might be more like an apartment size one, but still. Tons of space. I probably wouldn't have to get rid of anything if I got an apartment like this. There's a balcony, at least in this one, which is nice. It goes to there's like an internal courtyard here, and that's the view, like a common space with grills and stuff. I don't think that they have a pool here, but I could be wrong. I don't think she said anything about a pool. Not that that matters, because we've talked about how I don't like pools. So this is the master bedroom. Nice, huge bedroom. I mean, it has carpet, which you guys know I hate. But tons of space. Massive closet. I think this closet is bigger than the one that I have now, which is kind of crazy. But I like the shelves too. Most apartment closets don't have shelves, so that's nice. Tons of wall space and huge bathroom. Nice shower. Look at all the counter space. I mean, can you even imagine? So much counter space. Yeah. So I would assume that a one bedroom is probably gonna look more like this bedroom over here. So probably another closet. Oh, it has a bathtub that has creatures in it, but still. And even this one has tons of counter space, which is awesome. Oh, I like the window. What would you do with a window on the bottom? That's kind of interesting. You need really long curtains. But even this one, the room isn't too bad. I mean, it's pretty good size. And this one has a massive closet too. Yeah. Okay. All right. I know you guys are going to tell me in the comments what you think. It's kind of really silly to even think about moving downtown when you look at the price difference. This apartment is like, right now in July, it is $35.15 for a 2-bedroom apartment in Woburn. And this is one of the more expensive apartments. and I'm looking at studios downtown, and this one is 1,063 square feet. And I'm looking at studios downtown that are 500 square feet that are $3,800 a month. And I would be surprised if you have to pay for parking here. Maybe you do. Oh, there is parking. In a garage, it's $220 a month for an EV. So, or you can park in an uncovered space for $75 a month. So, $200 for parking, $220 for parking would still put you at like $37.50, which is still cheaper than the studios that I'm looking at downtown before you pay for parking downtown. So yeah, you guys can tell me in the comments how this is the smart choice and that I should get a 1-bedroom here in Woburn. And I will believe you, because that's what I'm thinking too. But the whole thing that you're buying downtown is the downtown atmosphere, right? You don't have that here. There's very little in Woburn. It's just a very industrial kind of town. So yeah, I don't know. Tell me in the comments, what do you think? Is it crazy to want to live downtown? Is that asking for too much? Tell me what you think. All right, so I kind of already gave away the lead with the price there because I was just so blown away that a 2-bedroom apartment in Woburn is cheaper than a studio downtown. I mean, I don't know why I was that surprised, but it was a lot cheaper. And then the parking is obviously cheaper, so let's talk about parking. They have a covered garage, which if you have a regular car, it's $130 a month. If you have an electric car like I do, it's $220 a month, probably because you get your own EV charger there. But you still have to pay for the charging, so that's not included in the cost. If it's similar to what it is in my building, it's like 31 cents per kilowatt hour, which is kind of expensive, but that's kind of what you expect too. So if you want an uncovered garage space, this is on the top floor of the garage, which is the 6th floor. It's $75 a month. If you want outdoor parking that's on the ground floor, it's $50 a month, but there is a wait list. And then if you have a guest that comes over, they have to pay $2 an hour for parking. I thought that was a little strange. That's the only place that I've seen that. There's no free guest parking there. But there is a whole shopping center with tons of parking in the shopping center. So I'm just saying, I'm sure guests probably park there. For the utilities, the electric, I'm guessing, is about $100 to $150 per month. That's what I pay now for a similar sized apartment. This apartment community has gas as well. That would be for your hot water and also for your heater in the wintertime. Probably about $50 to $100 a month, depending on the time of the year. And those fluctuate because your air conditioner is usually electric. So in the summertime, it'll be more expensive. And then because the heater is gas, your electric goes down in the wintertime, but then your gas goes up in the wintertime. So it evens out usually. It's about $200 per month, I would say, between both of them. Water and sewer, probably about $50 to $75 a month. And then they also said internet is Verizon Fios, which is nice, which is $45 per month. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and the cons of this space. The biggest con for me is that it's in Woburn. And this is also the biggest pro as well, because it's close to work, but it's a con because I'm just not that wild about this town. To me, it's not Boston. That's the biggest problem. It's not close to the ocean. There aren't really nice views of really anything. It's just kind of an industrial and commercial type of place that, I mean, there's nothing special about it. I guess that's the biggest con. For pros, obviously there's tons of space, especially for the cost. The location is close to work. And then there's a shopping center there, which is nice because there's a grocery store and there's tons of restaurants. There's a Sephora right there, which could be a con because that might be really dangerous for me to be that close to a Sephora. But yeah, there's a lot to do there. All right, so let's talk about the total cost. They require 3 times the rent in total household income before taxes. That's important to note. For the first apartment that we looked at, which was a 2-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor, it was 1,063 square feet. It is $3,515 per month. If you want a 1-bedroom apartment, it's 724 square feet, and it's $2,950 a month. Okay, so the next place that we're going to look at is a little bit farther north, still in Woburn. It is called Emblem 120. This building is actually new in the last couple of years, so everything is very new and very nice looking. For the amenities, they have tons of spaces to hang out. There is a lounge with what they called a pub center, an entertainment kitchen. There's also a media lounge. There's a recreation room. And which one is which, I really can't tell you. They all have different names, but there's just tons of spaces to hang out. There's even a space to hang out in the mailroom if you really want to hang out in the mailroom, or maybe you just need a place to put all of your stuff down while you're hunting for your Amazon package. They do have package receiving services. Also a clubhouse. I'm not certain, again, what the clubhouse is. It's part of all of their all of their hanging out spaces, I guess. There's a conference room with working spaces, and then there's a fitness center. Check out this fitness center. I don't think I've been in any building that has had a 2-story fitness center. And it looks like they have pretty much everything that you could want in here, along not only all the different machines and weights, but they have a yoga room. It's just really a little bit of everything. They also have a courtyard that's in the middle of the building, and it has a swimming pool with cabana seating and barbecue grilling stations, and then a sun deck as well. So, and then on top of all of that, you go up to the 6th floor, and there's another entertainment kitchen, another space with a fireplace to hang out, and then there's also some more outdoor space that overlooks Target, which is very nice and not commercial/industrial at all. All right, so let's go look at the apartment. The apartment that we're going to look at is a 1-bedroom apartment. It's on the 6th floor. It is 744 square feet. Okay, so here's the 1-bedroom. I don't know what that music is. Hopefully, I won't have to blur it out because of YouTube. It might get weird. I like the white countertops. Kitchen is very nice. Tons of storage. What is this? Closet. Very nice. I love the island. It's massive. Lots of nice space. Oh, full-size washer and dryer. Super nice. There's the bathroom. Even the bathroom has tons of space. Look at all that storage. That's what dreams are made of. And there's drawers. Look at all that countertop space. Are you joking? That's crazy. That's probably the hot water heater. There's a bathtub and it's massive. It's sunken and it's like bigger than a regular bathtub. Bedroom, again with the carpet. I don't know what these people are thinking, but it's huge. Apparently the bed is a queen size, which is really nice. And a huge closet. I mean, I could probably fit most of my stuff in there. Not really the best view here. It's very industrial, but you are right across the street from Target, and that's 93 right there, which is super, super convenient. But yeah, this is what most of Woburn looks like. So this building is really nice. If I was planning on living in Woburn, I would probably pick this building. I mean, it's it's really nice. I like the aesthetic of it. I like all the open spaces. There's a pool in the courtyard, which is nice. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's location, 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 right? Okay, so before we get into the pros and cons, let's talk about the parking situation. It says that there's a garage on their website. I did not see a garage there, so I'm not sure exactly how you get to it. But it said that parking is $125 a month. I looked everywhere on every website that you could find, and it didn't say if they had EV chargers, so I don't know if they do. And let me back up just a little bit with this building, because I forgot something really important with this building. Both of the apartments that I looked at today did self-tours, which I don't know if that's new, that something all apartment communities are doing across the United States, but it's definitely a big thing here in Boston. Most of them will let you do a self-tour, and some of them have an app that you use, which this one did, that's called Tour 24, and it seems nice and convenient until you're trying to get into the building and you can't get into the building. They have these weird locks, right? So I go into the little vestibule in the inside of the building, and there's 3 different systems on the wall, and there was no clear instructions on which one that you're supposed to use. It probably took me 5 to 10 minutes to figure out which one you have to use and how to get, because they don't have a keypad on them and you have to touch it to like get it to light up so you can see that there's actually numbers on there that you can touch. I even called the office because, you know, you could call the office through one of the systems and they hung up. So like they weren't even going to help me. So it took way too long to get in this building, and that sort of really irritated me because I feel like this staff is probably not going to be very helpful and responsive if you have a problem. That's a really bad first impression. So then my second impression with them is I went on their website to try and figure out, do they have parking? Because that was my first question. And then my second question is, do they have EV chargers? I found a phone number to call, and I called twice, and nobody answered the phone. So that's a second really bad sign that they're not very responsive. I don't know about you, but I've lived in enough apartment buildings that have terrible managers that make the whole experience horrible. No matter how nice the apartment is or how cheap it is or what great location it is, if the manager is horrible, then it's going to be a really bad experience. Back to the parking, I don't know if they have EV chargers. I would assume that they do because most places do around here, but I can't confirm or deny that. The utilities, again, for electric, probably $100 to $150 a month. Gas, $50 to $100 a month. The sewer, $50 to $75 per month. Okay, so the cons with this one, obviously the staff being super, super not helpful is the first con. The second con is the location. It is not downtown Boston. There is no harbor view. There's no good view. It's kind of in an industrial space. I mean, that's also a pro, right? So for the pros, yeah, it's very close to my work. It's right across the street from Target and Starbucks. So that will be incredibly tempting constantly. The cost is also a pro. This is one of the cheapest places that I looked at, but it was very nice too. And also there's a lot more space here than what you would get downtown and for a lot less. So that's definitely a pro. All right, so let's talk about how much it costs. This place requires 2.5 times the rent in total household income before taxes. So a little bit less than what the other place does. For the apartment that we looked at, it was on the 6th floor. It was 744 square feet. It was $3,029 per month. And if you want an apartment on the first floor that's a little bit bigger, it's 747 square feet. It's $2,779 per month. So what do you think? Would you live here? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so those are the two apartments that we looked at in Woburn this week. What do you think? Is it worth it to live here? It's not Boston. There's no view. It is extremely convenient. So not only is the rent cheaper and you have more space, but you're also not going to use as much fuel money. I was going to say gas money, but my car doesn't have gas. So not as much gas money or not as not as much wear and tear on your car. There's a lot less opportunity for you to be in an accident because you're not going to be spending so much time on the road and you're not dealing with crazy Boston traffic and crazy Boston drivers. There's so many pros. They're all right there. And it makes sense, right? This is probably the smart thing to do, is to live close to work. I have another question for you too, especially if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, which I so much appreciate. Once I get done looking for an apartment and moving into my apartment, I want to continue to make videos, and I want to make videos about my lifestyle and the place that I live and all the great fun things that there are to do in Boston. And I feel like that would be so much better to do downtown. That's my intention, is to show you what living in Boston looks like and to explore some of the touristy places, explore some of the restaurants, explore some of the history, and some of the lesser traveled places in Boston as well. Would you watch those types of videos? Is that something that you're interested in? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your feedback. And then make sure that you tune in next week because we're not done apartment hunting, so there will be more apartments next week. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.